Hi. I lost my avatar that matched you. I forgot to save it.
That's all right. We can get you a new one. You're so tall.
Aw, you guys look so cute.
Do you want to get an avatar like us, or
Wow.
do you want a Land of Lustrous one?
I kind of want to look like sisters.
Well, Dee, do you want to save that avatar in case we want to use it in something else, and we can all be gems?
I did save it. I'll double check that I saved it, but I'm pretty sure I saved it. Yeah,
Cool.
I saved it.
Let me drop a portal. We can be gems.
What was the story? Something about your accommodation, Kira? I love that. That's all I had to say.
Well,
What happened?
every single time in my life when someone has said no pets, you know, like it's like I'm renting a house or anything, everything. And they say no pets, and I say, oh, I have parrots. Is that okay? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, we mean like dogs and cats and shit. So I've just applied that to my whole life. And so when I came to Canberra, this is the third time I've come here with birds. Anyway, it was really, really tiny. Okay, get this. They have an apartment.
Guys.
They subdivided
I
the
dropped
apartment.
I dropped a portal.
Wait,
Come on, let's go.
pause.
Portal,
Pause,
guys.
we'll run through the portal.
Portal.
And continue.
How are you dancing, Dana?
Is it Q or E? R?
What the hell?
And it gives you options. Yeah.
Wow, this would be so much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, my twerk doesn't do much. Oh, there we go. Oh, God, you see that?
Yeah, your hair.
Looks terrible.
Where do I find money in this? There's a money emoji. There we are.
Die.
Oh, sorry. This one. Let me throw some money at you.
All right.
Why won't I stop twerking?
I think
I literally can't stop myself working.
Turn down for what?
Oh, God, stop. What's sad?
That's so funny. All right, tell me your story. Finish it. Birds, accommodation, no animals, split duplex or something. Tiny accommodation.
Yeah. So it's like an apartment that they've subdivided, and it was so small. It was pretty much like I just had a room. That's what it was like. So tiny. Anyway, so the only place I could literally put my bird cage was on my bedside table. That was the only space. That's it. Like the double bed took up the entire room.
Yeah.
Oh, Dana, oh my gosh.
How funny is this?
Also, it was a pain in the ass to get into the place because the instructions were just so terrible. And you get finally I got into the apartment and I was like, okay, room 108, and it's like one of those futuristic keypads, Amber, like that one at Launceston, except it didn't have a handle.
Oh.
So, but I thought on the outside it didn't matter so much because all you have to do is push on it, right? Anyway, so I get through 108 and then I'm literally in like a landing, like there's this teeny tiny hall and it's got 3 doors and it says 1, 2, and 3. And so I was like, oh, and I read the instructions again. I was like, okay, I'm room 1. So I had to again use the stupid futuristic keypad, which is digital. So you had to place your hand on it and it senses your whole hand, and then it comes up with 2 random numbers. You have to press the 2 random numbers in any order, and then you can put in the code, and then the door will unlock.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Not a normal door. So then, it's super tiny, whatever. Next day, I'm at work, and I get a message from the host saying, we've had noise complaints. Someone's, our other guest is saying that they can hear birds chirping from your room. Can I find out about this? And I was like, yeah, I have birds in the room. That's why they can hear them. And they were like, well, we have a strict no pet policy in our house rules. And I was like, oh. And I went and had a look at it, and I was like, it absolutely did say that. It also said there was like a $400 fine for bringing animals into the building. And I was like, whoa. So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't read that. I had no idea. I also I would never have assumed it extended to parrots. Pretty much like, what do you want me to do here? They do make noise, I'm sorry. And the guy was like, well, give us a $200 deposit for like the cleaning. They're like, look, just in case the birds. Okay, by the way, this is all in broken English. I'm making it sound like it's all fluent and like we're having a real conversation, but this guy's English was so broken. I think he was using Google Translate because it was weird. But essentially he was saying, okay, I think I can let you get away with it this time, but just pay a $200 deposit for like in case the birds like make a mess and we need to clean up. Okay, I just need that security. And I was like, absolutely, no problem. You'll see that when I move out and there's no mess, that it's not a problem, and you'll refund the $200. And then the next morning, I'm leaving to go to work. And by the way, like I said, there's no fucking door handles on this door. So like every time I have to unlock the door and lock it, I'm like grabbing onto this like keypad thing that's like a freaking phone, like a smartphone attached to a door. That's all I had as a purchase to pull the door closed. And then the door is like beeping. And beeping, like an alarm's going off. I'm going, what the hell? And I'm like trying to turn it off, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I can't figure it out, and it's not locking, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I just leave because I have to go to work. And this is the inner door. This is just number one door inside of room 108.
Wow.
So the main door, 108, is locked. Anyway, I send the guy a message being like, hi, just to let you know, the door is beeping and I have no idea, it's not locking. I had to go to work, so sorry. Just to let you know. And he was like, just to make sure, you're saying you left my apartment unlocked? And I was like, no. The inner door is unlocked. The outer door is locked. And then he was like, I've had maintenance go around to the room and they said you've put a coat rack over the door, hanging coat rack on the door, and that's the reason why it's not working and it's broken. Please do not put things on the door. And I was like, I didn't. It was already there. So I just left it. And I don't even remember how it came up. Oh, that's right, yeah. So I said I didn't do that, that it was already there like that. And he was like, oh, another $200, I'm fining you for having birds in. And I was like, what? I was like, I paid a $200 deposit to make sure that they kept the place clean, and if it's not clean, you can take it out of the deposit. Why are you fining me now? Yesterday you said it was fine. And he was like, just sent me a copy paste of the rules. As per rules, XYZ have to pay $200 to, it was $400. He's like, anyway, I was like, I don't understand. Yesterday you said it's fine. Now you're not saying it's fine. And he's just like, I've sent you the request for money. Could you please pay? I was like, actually, I'm going to look at finding accommodation elsewhere because this whole, it's making me very uncomfortable. Clearly, I'm going to look for accommodation elsewhere. And he was like, okay, just cancel and be out by tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So this accommodation cost me about $800. It was over $800 to stay there for the week, and I'd been there 2 nights. By the time I cancelled it, I'd been there 3 nights out of my 5 nights, and so it was like $100 a night or something like that, just over $100 a night. So because I'm cancelling, I only get 50% of my money back for the rest of the night, minus the cleaning fees. So not only do I have to pay for somewhere else to stay, for the next 3 nights, which I did, and cost $800 for 3 nights somewhere else because it's the next cheapest thing, and I'm paying like $200 and something a night to be at this place. 230, I think, 25. So not only that, but my refund for cancelling, I only got $130 back, and I was like, oh man, that's a shit, but whatever, just to be away from this guy. And so when I was leaving, I was like, all right, got to make sure this place fucking spotless. So I was like checking what I thought was everything. I was like checking everything. I was like, there was a spot. There was like a bird poo on the carpet. So I like, cleaned it up, and then I even like wet the carpet down and scrubbed it and like then patted it dry, and like I did everything I thought I did everything. This thing that fucking pisses me off. And then I was like, oh, I should take photos just in case. And so I did. I took photos of the carpet and everything just in case.
Good.
And then I get a message from him being like, my cleaner has reported that there's bird stains on the carpet that can't be removed. I'm taking $100 from your deposit for specialized cleaning. And I was like, what bird stains, motherfucker? I cleaned that place. And I was like, I even took photos. Anyway, I was like, send me these photos, please. So I was like, you just fucking making this shit up. Anyway, sent through the photos. Sure enough, there's a bird poo. And I don't even know where in the apartment the bird poo came from.
Just
it was
brought
just
a bird inside and just squeezed it out of it.
No, it was one of my bird poos because it has that green colour to it because they eat the coloured pellets. So their poo was stained green.
Where was it?
I don't know where it was, but I was like, oh, yeah, one bird poo. And you know what you do? You just like pick it up and you give the carpet like a bit of a scratch with the vacuum nozzle. That's it. Or if it's a bit of a wet one, let it dry and then do that. Or if it is wet and you rub it in the carpet, it's fine. You just get a little bit of water on like a cloth and rub it and it comes off. Like, it's not the end of the world. You don't need to fucking
I left a
It's almost
bad
like
review.
just dropping
I
chalk on the
kind of
carpet.
did. Oh, I mean, people would leave worse. Anyway, so I was
would
like
leave worse and
furious,
pay
and I was
less.
like, yes. So I was furious, and I was like, I'll come over and clean it myself for $100. And he didn't respond to that for an hour, and then I realized I was just like this whole time, the whole time I've been here, I've been so angry and furious. Every time I'd get a message from that fucking horrible man, I would just fill me with rage, and it would just like I'd be riding that rage for hours. And then I thought, fuck it, whatever. It's just $100. It's just $100. Take the fucking $100 and leave me alone. Never message me again. So I sent him a message being like, hi, just whatever you think you need, just take that. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't want to talk to you
I would not
anymore.
say
I
that
want
because
this
he'd
to
be
go
charging
away.
you whatever.
Oh, no, he's taking the $100. I was like, you take the $100 for whatever you think you need it for. Like, I don't want to talk to you again, essentially. Amber, your eyes are so cute. How'd you do that? Aww. And then the guy, like, had the last word being like, yes, I'll take the $100 because that is what I'm owed, or whatever it is, like blah blah blah. Like, yes, of course I'm taking the $100.
No,
as
it's
is
not,
my right.
you asshole. You said
And
you
so
took the $200 to cover it. Absolutely not. Especially if this was all messages, that's evidence. You could literally have said, well, I actually have it in writing and I'd like to talk to a solicitor and fucking see what he had done. As if he would have been like, no, it's okay.
I'd made the mistake in the first place of taking pet into this hotel when it was against the rules.
But then he wrote that it was okay. He wrote that it was okay. Because that's evidence saying that he was okay with it. That's enough evidence. It's written from him. You received it.
I know. It's so frustrating.
And he even suggested
I use that freaking evidence thing.
I know, but like
I use the evidence thing.
Okay. Oh yeah. I just don't.
Yeah.
So pissed off. Ugh. Anyway, this place that I booked, it said no pets. but I was like, hey guys, I know it says no pets, but I'm just checking. I have birds. Is this going to be a problem? And they're like, no, that's totally fine. I was like, cool. It says no, but I'm just going to have to do that every single time.
Yeah,
just so I don't
anyway.
have this problem. I should anyway,
Yeah.
right? But
Yes.
I just got to
you
the point where
anyway.
I like stopped asking because everybody was fine with it. But guess what? Not everybody in the world is fine with birds. Apparently, these people think they're going to get like fucking bird flu from like one poo or something. Oh, it was. I was, you know, when
That's
you're so angry,
infuriating.
you're shaking. Like that's what was
Yes.
happening. I was shaking. I was so angry with this fucking man. His name was Dan. Oh my god, what a dick.
I would have not been nice. Yes, well, anything in writing is evidence. I've learned this the hard way.
Sort of shit review.
Good.
Yeah, no, I would have left a
out of the
horrible
way.
review.
Get. Don't want your ass in my face.
Ass? This ass?
Better not start twerking. Stop. Go away, you weirdo.
Did I tell you about the water laser, Kira?
Water laser? No.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm loving our avatars, by the way. Our avatars are super cute. We should get a photo. But anyway, tell me your
No, I'm
infuriating
recording
story.
this.
Okay. I'm gonna like shorten it because it's a long ordeal. Essentially, we use this really expensive laser at work to it gently removes soft tissue, right? In your mouth.
Ew.
We use it to release tongue ties. I love it. Absolutely love tongue tie releases. Anyway, so I'm super freaking careful with this device because it is so expensive, and it was emphasized greatly when I learned to set it up that we weren't to break it. Well, this thing breaks. Okay.
Oh.
And yep. And we don't know why it's broken. It's broken before. It was very expensive to fix, and now it's broken again like a week or two after it got fixed, right? And I was like, I mean, I can't say that it wasn't me because I was the last person to use it. There was a few things that went wrong, but we've also responded better than what she did. She just ignores problems and keeps going, which essentially broke the machine. And so what happened is, see, I don't understand. So I put the handpiece on, and then you prime it, and water comes through the handpiece. And before you can remove the handpiece, you have to purge it to make sure no water comes through. Well, when you prime it, water comes through. So if it was leaking out of the handpiece, it should have leaked out when it primed, but it didn't.
Yeah.
But then when Dr. used the handpiece, it leaked water everywhere. And what it does is when it leaks water, it means that the laser beam is going to go in whatever direction it reflects off the water drop, which essentially means it went back into itself and shattered the trunk fiber. So it didn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
We find out it doesn't work. He gets this. He orders. So my manager orders the technician in, and before the technician comes in, he goes, Dana, I want to have a talk with you. And I was like, okay, that's a casual way to ask. So I went at lunchtime to ask him. He's like, oh no, it has to be private. I wait 2 days. He pulls me away in between patients and says to me, Dr. Wee said that you were the one who used the laser. I expected you to be better. I held you at a higher responsibility. So you are costing our company $150,000.
Oh my god.
You are costing. We have a lactation consultant that comes in, so they help you breastfeed.
What?
Comes in for our tongue tie removals because we do it on infants.
Oh,
so
okay.
He goes, you're costing her job, and you're costing these babies their treatment.
That's not fair for him to do that.
Yes. So I fucking can't do confrontation. So I'm there like, oh. And he goes on about how I should be more responsible and I should come to him if anything goes wrong, and we should stop it straight away. And blah 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 blah. Blames me. I went and cried in the toilet. He tells the clinician that I'm with, "Oh, Dana might be a bit upset this afternoon." Fuck you. So I go back, and it's the worst afternoon of my life. I go home and I call Helen. I tell her everything, and she goes, "It's in the wrong. You should have said something when you were in there." I don't do confrontation, so my brain goes blank if someone confronts me, and then I have a panic attack if I try to argue back because I don't know, it's just how I work. So I'm telling her like, yeah, it could be my fault, but the way he handled it isn't wrong. He didn't even ask me what happened. Also, it was on the same day I found out Prue passed away, so that doesn't help. And so I consider quitting my job.
Yeah, I bet.
Because I'm like, that is unacceptable. I was going to write an email, but I was like, A, he didn't have the evidence. The technician hadn't come in and actually said what's broken, so we don't even know if it's not repairable. It got repaired. B, he didn't ask me what happened in the room, what happened on the day, or anything. So there's that. And, like, how dare he blame me? This machine needs to be serviced every 6 months, and it had 3 years of no servicing.
Oh,
so
wow.
You're here telling me that this machine that most likely has a lot of internal damage, because I can tell you it was not looked after properly after my training with the technician of how to look after it. I can tell you right now that it was not treated correctly. So I had 4 days off because it was when we were low in clientele, or maybe they had a few days off. So I had 4 days off to really null it over. So I messaged almost every single friend I had at work and asked their opinion, and every single one of them said it's in the wrong. So then I ignored it for ages because I'm like, fuck you. This thing, by the way, got serviced and is fixed now.
Did the technician say what?
It just needed new trunk fiber. He couldn't specify specifically what broke it, but that it was broken. And he could, I don't know. From the records in the machine, everything was done correctly, but that's not to say it doesn't take a record when things, like if the handpiece is leaking, it doesn't record that because it has no system to pick up that that's happening. It can just pick up that I've set it up correctly by using the right buttons and shit like that. So it doesn't apologize to me, but one of the clinicians do. She pulls me aside and she goes, "I'm very sorry that you were blamed for this. That is not what should have happened. What should have happened is you and your clinician should have had a conversation about this, and your clinician should actually be held responsible because as soon as that water laser broke, she should have stopped treatment straight away," which she didn't do, and then checked it. And before I shut it down, I did all the tests that we were taught to check if it was okay. It passed every single test. So I was like, okay, it must be okay then. So
yeah, of course.
Elena had an incident at work. She's a youth worker. They have to do case reports after every day they work as evidence to say what they've done. This is legal documents. She never does it on time. And so she got pulled into something because someone's case notes said that she was doing the wrong thing, and she hadn't put hers in to say what her version was, because it was in late. She had nothing but verbal evidence, and verbal evidence doesn't get you anything.
Means nothing. Yeah,
it means nothing. So she got suspended for like a week, and then she came back.
Holy shit.
And so I was listening to her friend tell her, because Elena's like, yeah, but I have verbally this. And she's like, but do you have evidence? Did you email anyone? Do you have a submitted copy? Do you have some sort of evidence? And Elena's like, no. Yep. And her friend's like, I'm so sorry, but unless you have a really good strategic argument, you're not gonna look good in this situation because there's no evidence and there's no witnesses. So you know what I did? I made a witness sheet. So people watch me put this laser together. And then I email a report of how the water laser work on the day. Because he can't come back at all and say, you've done the wrong thing because someone's watched me set it up. And I've emailed him. So it's still not 100% perfect. It still isn't passing all the tests. I went and asked him about it because that's what he requested. He had no idea. So I was like, I'll ask. I'm like, you verbally agree to this? He said yes. I asked him, and then I sent him an email saying that he verbally agreed to it. Because I was like, I'm never getting caught. If he tries to throw me this whole I owe the company this bullshit again, I have all the evidence in my favor because I have an evidence trail. I even printed all the emails and I keep them all in a folder. So I'm like, hell no, is this ever happening again?
That's really good that you do that.
Yeah. The clinicians at work are like, you shouldn't have to do that. I'm like, I shouldn't have to, but I shouldn't have had to go through what I went through. Yeah. So, no, I will have an evidence trail for anything that I think will go out of my favor, pretty much.
Wow. I wish I had that sort of balls when I was working and like whenever or like were horrible to me, I wish I had recorded everything down and had, you know, someone sign as a witness because there were people there and they just keep quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing, there was just some stuff that it was sort of like me versus the other person, like my word versus theirs. Obviously, there's always going to be those situations. But, ugh.
Yeah, well, I wanted to.
Good on you for doing this. This is going to cover your ass in the future, I reckon. Yeah. Even if you don't use it for like 2 years, like when you do need it, you are safe.
I've got it. I have evidence for anything that I feel uncomfortable with. I write a report about and email it to the company.
Yeah,
I refuse. And if none of the DAs can witness me setting up the laser, I agree. So I was like, if anything goes wrong, you watched me set it up and you signed agreement, so that means that if it breaks in this appointment, it's on you. And she was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, we're done. I was like, I'll never be in that position again. Because I don't do confrontation. And also, it was agreed with other DAs that have been under fire with that if he ever asked for a meeting again, we asked for a witness.
Ask for a witness,
because I was by myself. He doesn't agree to either of those because one of the ladies at work went and talked to a solicitor about it. He doesn't agree to either of those terms. You don't need to have a meeting with him. Because he can be intimidating you. Like, who knows what he's saying to you? Like, he could be like, forcing you to admit things that you didn't do. Yeah, other people have had worse in a sense that one of the girls was told that nobody liked her. Oh, yes. And I was like, that's way worse. Like, that's mentally worse because now you're going to work thinking everyone said something bad about you. So no, I refuse. Yeah. I stand my ground now on stuff like that specifically. I'm like, if I have written evidence, then you can't do that. Also, on a side note, freaking someone in Amsterdam has spent evidence $160 of my money on Uber Eats.
What?
Yeah,
I went your credit card details.
Nah, yeah, and it's not even a card I ever use either. It literally never use it, and
how did they get the details?
I went to buy your birthday present online, and my account bounced, and I was like, that's weird. I never use this account, but I know there's money on it. Because I just transferred money onto it. I don't know why it didn't work either. So I went on there, and it's like, oh, spent this money, and then you charged this fee. And I was like, what? Why didn't I get an email? Why is it bouncing? And then my mobile app wouldn't let me transfer money, so I had to go online. So I transferred all the money out, and then I tried ringing the banks, but of course they're closed. So I had to email them being like, hey, fraud has happened. You need to call me and leave a voice message because I work out like long hours. Or you need to email me because I'm not going to have time to do it. I'm working 5 days.
Yeah. Have they got back to you?
But I know I only discovered that today. So your birthday present will be late.
Oh,
They
that's all right.
spent it on Thursday.
Holy shit! You must have been. I've never had this happen.
I've never, and I've always been like, oh, nah, this has never happened to me. Like, I don't go on dodgy websites. No, I don't even know how they got my details on a card I never use. And they went and bought Uber Eats with it. I was like, how does that work? So the fact that I don't use this card, I'm probably just going to cancel it anyway.
Yeah, get your money back.
Do you
banks are usually
mind?
really good with that, with just giving it back.
Did I
Walk
stand in
into
front of
me.
you? Whoops.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like pissed off. I was so pissed off when and then the bank, I went through all of these, they're like, select 1 for bankments and statements, 2 for insurance. And I'm like, whoa. And then I went through 4 different numbers, and then they were like, you'll have to call during workday hours. And I was like, why wouldn't you put a thing on saying no one's going to answer the call because it's a weekend? What are you guys on about? So I'll probably try and call them. I thought they would too. So I'll try and call them on Monday in my lunch break. And if not, I had
What branch is it? What bank is it?
Suncorp.
You could go in and talk to them. Is there a Suncorp in Koroy? No, where are you? Koroy,
No. So I got to go to Gympie or Noosa Civic. So Thursday morning I have one. So
that's right. You live out that way.
Yeah, so I'll go in Thursday.
For you? And you can't go into shopping centres?
Half an hour.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yes. Yeah,
Why can't she go into shopping centres?
I get all dizzy and I feel like I get a panic attack.
Kira, you have to watch the latest YouTube video to be filled in.
Yeah. Watch our last episode and you'll get caught up.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I had some
nice... Jesus Christ.
That felt so good. Oh my god.
I watched all season 1, but I wouldn't watch anymore.
I tape my mouth closed at night now, Kira, and I sneezed the other day, and it was the most disappointing thing of my life. I didn't sneeze. I breathed really deep through my nose, and it disappeared into my body. And I was like, well, I have no satisfaction. I was like, that feeling just came, and I inhaled it somehow. And I was so disappointed.
Oh, speaking of that, you want to hear something really... Amber, you're going to have to edit this out, okay? Don't put this online.
It's not online.
With what genre of any sort of storytelling do you like in what formats? Because I like action in live action, in animation and in live action, but action in written, novels and in graphic novels, it gets a bit confusing. Yeah, and then romance in live action, unless it's fantasy, I don't really care about. In written form and in manga, it's a bit more interesting.
Oh my god, you get so deep into it, right?
I guess you need to have that sort of that background, the more information of the characters processing things that are happening, something that you can't translate in film. So having it written is a lot better, so you understand the character a bit more and justify the choices that they make, and how that person makes them feel. But horror is better as a film and not as any other format. And comedy.
I know. You read any horror?
Not too much. I put it down once it started having animal abuse in it.
I read
comedy. Comedy's best in manga. In anime, it's a bit awkward sometimes.
It's too silly.
Yeah, it seems very childish.
Emma,
it can be a bit.
What?
I thought of maybe close to a horror. It's an erotic horror. I went to the op shop. It's got a story because I like stories. I went to the op shop and I bought a book and it was Sleeping Beauty, and I thought it was like the original Sleeping Beauty. I'm reading this. Okay, let's put you in a situation here. Dad's old apartment. Dad's watching TV. I'm on the lounge next to him. Grab this book and I'm like, I'm gonna read this. The whole thing is about like fucking rape, and I was like,
really?
It's like I think it's trying to be like close to the original Sleeping Beauty where he like rapes her and impregnates her and stuff, except it was like he rapes her. She's now his slave, and he takes her back.
What
his
the?
whole kingdom just has slaves that they have sex with, and then if they don't do the right thing, they get beat up. And then I was like, I got like one chapter in, and then she was getting beat up because she made eye contact with another slave. And I was like, I'm done.
I'm out, tapping out.
I'm done here. This is going back to the op shop. Part of me kind of wishes I finished it because I'm like, how did that end? Did that happen?
How did it get published?
I think it falls under like erotica, but it
was
was
rape.
more horror for me because I was like,
I've
rape
read
beatings,
a book that was really uncomfortable as well.
Oh
It
no, is
wasn't-
that the diamond one?
It wasn't as
The gem one? No,
What?
okay. Was it the vampire child?
Yes, the vampire child. What's the gem one though?
It's called like Dark Gem or whatever, where the girl how she sees herself on the inside as a little fawn girl. There's
yeah. No, that wasn't
Demon-
disturbing. Yeah, she did get raped. Yeah, Demon and Lucifer and Satan. That's a good. No, that's a good read. No, the one that made me really uncomfortable. Yes, Vampire Child. And they were like, oh, she's not really a child because she's a vampire. She's been around for, hundreds of years. She's just in a child body. And people have, and she has sex with all of the people who, like, give her blood because she has, like,
Ew.
donors. I know. Ew. And it was just like, and because they're describing her childlike body as they're, like, having sex with her. And I'm like,
that's disgusting.
This feels like a fucking
this author
used to write child
Yuck.
pornography.
How did he get published?
It made me really uncomfortable. I was like, I hope people aren't reading this over my shoulder. Oh my God, Dana. I don't know if I've told you this. So I listen to audiobooks and
Dana,
I listen to them
out.
as I'm driving around.
My dog out.
No tongue. So I listen to them.
So you have to hold down
I
shift.
don't know if I've got tongue. Oh.
Okay, you hold down shift and you cycle through F1, F2, F3, F4, and that's your emotions. All the way to F9, and F1 is the default.
I forgot shift. I was like, it's not working. Yes, I'm listening.
Where did you get that from? Oh, that's one of your emotions. Okay.
Yeah. Kira, I told you.
I'm listening to. I know you just told me, but I can't be fucking bothered right now because I'm talking to you guys. I'm not here to like fuck around. I'm here to talk.
And I'm here for content.
I'm giving you content.
Gonna make that doshi, baby.
Yeah, shut up. Okay, listening now. Listening, please. Standing up. Everyone stand up. Pay attention to me.
I don't want to stand up. That's actually
Fine,
me
stay down
standing
there.
up.
Anyway.
Yes. Okay, shut up.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So I decided to listen to the original story of Brokeback Mountain. Because I'm interested in like movie adaptions from stories. And if I've seen the movie, I'll listen to the audiobook and find it really interesting. I did it with Benjamin Button. And that was a weird experience. And I was doing it with Brokeback Mountain. It's only a short story. So I'm like listening to it while I'm driving, like for my hour-long drive to work, and it's hot because it's summer, so I have the windows down. And it's like we're driving through Hoddle Street, which is like just back to back with cars. Like that's just what it is in the mornings. Like there's no getting around it. You just have to crawl your way through that street. So anyway, I've stopped at these lights. And there's a cyclist that has like come up beside me. And the audiobook is like talking, you know, like the two guys get, you know, whatever.
Get it down.
And it's just, no, that's the thing. It's just like in the movie where it just happens so suddenly, because it's like, I'm just like listening and they're like on the mountain, and then one guy's like, do you want to come in here? Let's both be in here because it's fucking freezing night. And then it's like he can feel his groin pressing up behind him. And then next minute, it's like actually quite vividly describing, you know, like he's sitting on his hand and like fingering his asshole, and it's like talking about the smell of shit and cum, and I was, I know, I was like, turn it down, and then I just like stared straight ahead. I could feel the cyclist look over at me, but I do not pay any attention to him. I just like stare straight ahead, and then when the light goes green, I just drive off, and I'm like, oh my God. Because it's, you know, I'm listening to it quite loudly, so I can hear it over the sound of my car. Oh my God.
So can he.
And that whole story was just like a soft porn story. It was like not really about the love. It was more about just like the sexy hookups with the between these two. Like there was a little bit where it's like, I wish I could quit you, and you know, you're like a drug to me. But there's not like we love each other and we want to be together. It was like we love fucking each other, but we're men and we like fucking women too. But there's something about your asshole, and it's just like they meet up in the hotel, and I just like. It even, okay, this is how the whole story ends, okay? So the guy who's still alive, Heath Ledger's character, he's living in a caravan by himself, and he's got Jake Gyllenhaal's like shirt that he used to wear, like hanging up in his cupboard, and he's got like
blood on it.
Yeah. And he's got a postcard of like a photo of Brokeback Mountain in his caravan, and at night he dreams. And sometimes he wakes up with his pillow wet from tears. And sometimes he wakes up with his sheets wet. And that's how it fucking ends. Wow. That's how it ends. It ends with being like, and sometimes he jizzes himself.
It's like, buddy, sometimes I leak from one end and one time the other. I love you. Amber.
What?
Go on.
What am I imitating?
You practice doing what's it called? What the drama kids do? Improv.
I'm just an emo character.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
I need to have my arms crossed and be like, nobody loves me. I'm useless.
Leave Britney alone.
I belong to the night. I need a job. I wish Millenarians would adopt me now. Is that good enough?
It was pretty melodramatic.
I think that voice was a lot better than my real voice.
I can't even do voices. I just can't do that.
Bye.
I'll see you next week. Have fun.
How do you jump? Bass?
Alrighty.
I'm Rick James.
Bye, bitches.
Bye.
She just popped out of existence.
Oh, I was trying to wave for bye, but alright. It's alright. I like these ones better anyway. These are so cute.
I like my other foss though, because these are like metals opposed to gems.
The hair, you mean?
Yeah.
The way the colour is done.
And the style as well isn't exactly Leonard Lustrous. This is like more We're just cosplayers, is what it seems like. Because the body type is
It's
very
pretty
different.
close though. Like you can
From what,
see what we are.
Yeah, I would hope so.